All right, so here we are iterating over an array of quizzes, and the quizzes are of different types. Some are true-false questions, some are multiple choice questions. And what we'd like to be able to do is to render different types, right, using their own particular user interface, right? So in the quiz component that is rendering this, as it's iterating, we could use a type to drive the fact that we want to render one or another type of question, right? Notice that we do have question type available, right? So that there it is. So there's a key, right, that is part of the object that we could use to drive whether we want to render one or another, right? So let's do that. So first of all, we'll need the two additional components that will have specific rendering of one type of quiz or another type of quiz. So let's head over to our terminal and create two components. Okay, so here we're going to create two components. We'll say ngGenerate the component true false question. And we'll generate the other one, the multiple choice. So ngGenerate component multiple choice question. Okay, we can then head over here, and depending on whether we have one or the other, right, we would render one component or the other. So how do we do that? So to do that, what we're going to do is that we're going to create an outer div, right? And this div is going to serve the role of a switch case logic, right? Where it's going to compare the value of a variable, in this case the question type, and if the type is one value, it'll choose one case. If it's another value, you use a different case, right? So to do that, we're going to use the ngSwitch. There it is, ngSwitch. So ngSwitch behaves like this switch case construct in Java and JavaScript. You give it a variable that is going to compare against, and in our case, is going to be the question.type. So this is going to be an expression that evaluates to a string, and that string is going to be compared against some constant, and depending whether it's true or false, or value same or not, it'll choose one or the other. So we want to choose between two cases, right? We want to choose between the true false, or the true false. There it is. Here's a true false question. Okay, or the other one is called multiple choice. So multiple choice, there it is. Right? Now the way we choose between one or the other is by adding here an attribute that can be used to be compared against a type. So to do that, we use another attribute called the ngSwitch case. There it is, ngSwitch case. So the ngSwitch case is where we are going to provide the constant by which the type is going to be compared against, right? And we know that the value was a thing true underscore false, or multiple underscore choice, right? And we have that here on the server side, right? If we go to the JSON, we'll see that the type is right there, true, false, and multiple choice. So we're going to compare against those values. So it's a string. Here you could put an expression, right? But we want to compare it against a constant. So that's why we're going to put it inside of quotation marks, meaning this expression evaluates to a string, right? You could instead provide here a variable, right? And that variable can change and whatnot, can be calculated. So here we're going to compare it against true underscore false. And this one, instead, we're going to do an ngSwitch case. We're going to compare against multiple choice. Okay? All right, so if we head over back to our client, we see that indeed, right, we have the content being rendered as one or the other based on that switch case construct.